Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. In today's video, I'm trying to make it as short as possible. This is going to be just some quick updates with the Ripple versus SC case with Johnny Deaton, digital asset investor, and other community members. And I'm going to cover a couple articles here on Cointelegraph. One of them saying after record growth, VC crypto investments declined 38% in May. And the CFTC sues Gemini, claiming crypto exchange lied in future contracts evaluations. And then Coinbase chief legal officer responds to SEC disclosure FUD. So coming over here, looking at CoinGecko, we're currently sitting up from yesterday, 2.2%. We're currently sitting at a $1.3 trillion market cap, and then Bitcoin's up from the 29 range into the 30,000 range again. Ethereum sitting at 1830. XRP sitting over 39 cents again. So we're having some green here, a little bit of green. Who's the biggest gainer? ICP is up 26%. Evmos is up 10.8. KuCoin 7.2. Cardano. So it's a little bit of gainer. If we come over here to the Bitcoin Fear Greed Index, we're currently sitting at 13. So in our video yesterday, we kind of predicted, like, based on the market sentiment and how things were, we definitely were expecting a little bit more downside. We were just at a 17. Now we're at a 13, but still living within this extreme fear range. A lot of market uncertainty and a lot of different narratives going on right now. Coming over here, I wanted to cover a couple of different Johnny Deaton responses to community members. So this is Bill. Bill had put this up. He says, sought and received feedback about his apparently personal views from the SEC's attorneys. If that sounds like having your cake and eating it, or mere semantics, or being too smart by half, you will not find any argument from me. So coming in here, he's talking about this here. It says, in his official capacity and in non-public communications with the SEC lawyers, Director Hinman confidentially provided and sought feedback about his views on whether offers and sales of digital assets, including Ether, constituted securities transactions. The comments on the speech reflect those confidential views and communications. Thus, disclosures would reveal SEC confidential information. So obviously, we were talking about the big shift in regards of the SEC's position on Ethereum, or Bill Hinman's Ethereum Free Pass speech that happened back in June 2018. So they were talking about it was his personal opinion, and then they got pressed for it, and then they changed it, saying it falls under DPP. Then he got pressed for it, and now they're saying that it falls under attorney-client privilege. Johnny Deaton says, notice how the SEC lawyers say Hinman provided and received confidential communications about the speech. What that means is the SEC is saying even Hinman's comments about the drafts of his speech are privileged. He was giving legal advice and receiving legal advice at the same time, and then he has the shake my head kind of shame emoji there. Coming over here, he's responding to Michael at Val5 Links. He says, Attorney John Deaton says Ripple XRP appearing on the SEC's watch list in 2018 was not a coincidence. So we covered Johnny Deaton's stance and why he said that in our previous video yesterday. And Johnny Deaton responded to Michael and said, anyone that believes a March 28, 2018 meeting between ETH investors seeking safe harbor or regulatory free pass for ETH and XRP appearing on the SEC watch list the very next day is a coincidence, is the conspiracy theorist. So if you've been following the community or you've been following this channel, you know that we've been called conspiracy theorists, unfounded speculation, all types of different names in regard of, the XRP community. So clearly, if we're so-called conspiracy theorists, all this stuff that we're surfacing isn't just like us just throwing random stuff out there. We're utilizing them on video footage, them in their own words, them, on documents or whatever the case is. We literally have an entire timeline covering the whole ETHgate stuff as much as we have, connecting all the dots, and it's all them in their own words. Crazy. Just kind of piecing things together. Tim says, ETHgate, $15 million I hear buys freedom with regulators. All right, moving on here. I wanted to cover this. This was one of the big updates for today. Johnny Deaton's Crypto Law had an update, and it says an XRP holder received this from Mike Crapo. I think that's how you say it. After using Crypto Law US Connect to Congress, Senator Crapo is the senior Republican on the Senate Banking Committee. Slowly but surely. So he's saying like things are slowly starting to turn over in regards. People are slowly starting to notice kind of what's going on here. So just to quickly read through this, it says on May 10, 2022, Empower Oversight, a watchdog nonprofit, requested the SEC Office of the Inspector General to conduct an investigation regarding a former SEC official, William Hinman, and his potential conflicts of interest regarding Ethereum cryptocurrency. In 2018, Hinman gave a speech stating that Ethereum sales and offers would not qualify as securities transactions, which would not place them under the SEC jurisdiction. Empower Oversight claims Hinman did not follow directives from the SEC's ethics office that would have allowed him to avoid conflicts tied to his financial interests in Simpson Thacher, his former and now current employer, in the firm's connection to the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, so the EEA, and Ether cryptocurrency. This claim is particularly grave in light of the SEC's ongoing lawsuit against Ripple Labs Inc., SEC versus Ripple. On December 22nd, 2020, the SEC announced that it filed an action against Ripple, one of Ethereum's rivals or competitors, and two of its executives claiming Ripple raised over $1.3 billion through an unregistered ongoing digital asset securities offering. The SEC argues that the success of Ripple's digital currency, XRP, relies on the promotion and innovation of Ripple and thus represents an investment in the company of itself. Under the Howey test used by the SEC to determine whether a transaction qualifies as an, quote, investment contract, this would qualify XRP as a security instead of a commodity. It falls under SEC jurisdiction. I agree that innovations such as cryptocurrencies are inevitable and beneficial, and that the U.S. should lead in their development. As virtual currencies become a larger part of the trading marketplace, it is important that regulations keep pace in order to foster this technology while maintaining just and equitable standards and ensuring full transparency. I will continue to work with my colleagues in the administration to develop established practices for the use of cryptocurrency. Sincerely, Mark Crepwell. So just like he said, slowly but surely, I pray, obviously we keep, as a community, standing together, coming together as a decentralized community to fight, for a common cause, to fight for what's right. We stand together and we keep servants and stuff, and that, players like, this gentleman here and, other, major players in Congress or in just in positions of power in general start really shedding light on kind of what's going on, because it's quite evident that there's, a huge scandal here that's really affecting, thousands and thousands of investors. It's crazy. So moving on here from Cointelegraph says, after record growth, VC crypto investments declined 38% in May. Venture capital investments in the crypto industry have almost doubled since last year, but are down 38.2% since April. So, you can come in here and take a look at this whole article. I kind of read through it. I thought it was quite interesting, but I know the topic of VCs have been a huge topic of discussion within, Discord, Telegram, and through Twitter, talking about you got to be careful when you're investing in certain assets, because if they have a lot of VCs, when these unlock periods come, you can expect some turmoil in regards of them dumping their allocations or their shares. So I just wanted to throw this up there just to kind of give you food for thought and just kind of let you know some of the ins and outs when it comes to this market. Coming over here says CFTC sues Gemini, claim a crypto exchange lied in futures contract evaluation. The agency says the exchange gave false information in person and in documents in its 2017 bid to be among the first to offer Bitcoin futures contracts. So I definitely recommend you come down and read this, kind of get updated, kind of what's going on. But just looking at this quote here, it says, this enforcement action sends a strong message that the commission will act to safeguard the integrity of the market oversight process, CFTC Acting Director of Enforcement Gretchen Lowe said in statement. Gemini told Cointelegraph in statement, quote, Gemini has been a pioneer and proponent of thoughtful regulation since day one. We have an 8-year track record of asking for permission, not forgiveness, and always doing the right thing. We look forward to definitively proving this in court. So, hey, maybe they will be able to prove their case. We know that when it comes to, if you've been in this space and you've kind of, been through the ebbs and flows and kind of been, diving into research and just kind of learning as much as you possibly can, that there's been shady platforms, whether it's a staking platform or an exchange, a DEX or centralized exchange, whatever the case is. There's been shady actors out there, and it's just the reality of this new emerging market. It can happen in all markets, but especially in this one, especially when regulatory clarity and just regulations in general aren't present, and aren't very strong. So curious to see how things are going to unfold in this. And we know that when it comes to, obviously this says CFTC, but when it comes to the SEC going after, pretty much everything crypto, they're coming after lending platforms, exchanges. They're coming after even DEXs. They're saying they're going after decentralized exchanges, which I don't know how they're going to do that. But, clearly these so-called watchdogs are truly trying to rein in kind of what's going on. And I pray that, we get proper regulations before this whole enforcement, regulating by enforcement stuff continues. Lastly, here with this one, it says Coinbase Chief Legal Officer response to SEC disclosure fuss. Says Paul Grewal, the Chief Legal Officer of Coinbase, highlighted that the funds of customers are protected legally and physically. So just reading through this right here, there's the tweet right here that says There's never been a serious question that assets on Coinbase are safe. We have more than 6 billion in the bank and financially strong and have legal and operational protections for customers to invest, access, and withdraw their crypto. So there's been a lot of speculation and talk that's been happening when there was legal verbiage within Coinbase's. I forgot what it was, but it was like in their pretty much how they handle things. And if something was to happen, like worst case scenario, they were to go bankrupt, I guess the verbiage was pretty much stating that like the assets that are on the platform can be in a sense seen as like I guess we could say theirs in the sense where they would pretty much lose. You would lose access to your assets, if the company was to ever roll up, go belly up and go bankrupt or whatever the case is. And I know there was been a lot of people speculating on like, oh, you need to get off Coinbase and this is terrible, not your keys, not your crypto type stuff. And so clearly this may have been trickling down into this FUD that they've kind of been dealing with. And regardless of anything, from my experiences, I use Coinbase as like an on and off ramp for sure, one of them. And I know for me, I've learned a lot in regards of I do my best to try to keep custody of my stuff. Yes, I do have some of my digital assets on exchanges, obviously to get in and out, to take profit here and there, whatever the case is. But I typically leave it in cold storage or my mobile wallet type stuff, whether that's a MetaMask, Phantom Wallet, or whatever the case is. So I highly recommend you educate yourself on self custodying and just truly understand what you're getting yourself into when you're utilizing certain exchanges and custodying your assets. But that's kind of the update. I kind of want it to be as quick as possible. I know it's 11 minutes or something, but I want you to come to Crypto's Key. Obviously, you're on this YouTube video. Subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate the support. Come to Twitter and follow Crypto is Key 1. This is kind of where I get a lot of my information in regards of topics that I like to talk about in our crypto conversation. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.